And for those who enjoy this channel and would love to support us financially, please feel free to hit that donate link. We'd greatly appreciate it. God bless. And for those who enjoy this channel and would love to support us financially, please feel free to hit that donate link. We'd greatly appreciate it. God bless.
Hello. There is a design feature in all of creation that I believe many people don't recognize, or they already recognize it but don't know that it's exactly or precisely the design of God. For example, if you look at this picture, it's called the cosmic pearls. It is a supernova that exploded, yet it still looks beautiful. We do not know if God designed it that way, that for every explosion of a star, it would look this beautiful. It's not only that, there is also the Crab Nebula and a lot more, like the Eye of God Nebula, which looks like an eye from space, and many, many more examples. And in our geologic world, even after the great devastation suffered by the earth healed. Okay, and look at how beautiful it is today. So these features show order through chaos. Okay, but like I said, we are not sure if this is how God designed it. Order through chaos. But I believe it is. Just look at these cosmic pearls and look at the earth today after the global flood. So this is a design feature in which is still incredible in spite of what happened in the past or even is still happening today, like supernovas. So that will be all. Thank you. Now about God's universe. Not everything about his universe, because there are a lot of things, but only some or a few. Okay, I'll start with the great book of the universe. Okay, the great book of the universe is open for us to explore, but it could not be understood without first knowing the language from which it is written. We've heard the language and fingerprint of God through DNA, but this language can also be applied to the universe. Okay? This language can also be applied to the universe by what's written in scripture about it. Now, for example, our galaxy. The Milky Way is like a cosmic ocean with 2 billion stars. And one of its design features is it rotates like an incredible carousel with speeds of 9,000 miles a minute. And the spiral arms of our galaxy is one of the most beautiful among God's creation. And our galaxy contains nebulas from exploded stars. These nebulas also are called islands, or hydrogen gas and dust, and they are illuminated by starlight, a design feature which creates beautiful colors. Now, the famous astronomer Edwin Hubble, using the best telescope of his day, concluded that the hazy objects in space, once thought to be nebulas, were in fact individual galaxies. So for the first time in history, a correct conceptual view of God's universe is discovered. So Edwin Hubble opened a window of a universe exceedingly large and filled with countless galaxies and designed richly with diverse sizes and shapes. Spiral ones are the best, while ellipticals and irregular galaxies provide more diverse colors in the universe. They are like gems. And did you know that 2% of galaxies were designed with satellites or smaller galaxies beside them, like our moon? Also, after staring at 10 days at a small patch of sky no larger than a coin, we've captured one of the greatest photo in the history of science. Not just the universe, but one of the greatest photo in the history of science itself. Okay, now, from our vantage point, the universe is an open volume to be read. The language, again, which I was talking about. No aspect of the universe proves more to behold than its size. And by the way, of course, I have to say this, throughout the Old Testament, as an example or as another example of the language of God, a recurring phrase tells us of God's shaping of the cosmos. That is, He stretched out the heavens. He said that 17 times in the Old Testament. Though it was written 3,000 years ago, those words convey an accurate picture of the universe modern astronomy is continually discovering. When God said He stretched out the heavens, there are two meanings. One, the expanding universe or the stretching of space. And the second one is God stretched out individual galaxies and stars so very far apart as being stretched. For example, each star is separated from another star by trillions of miles. He stretched out the heavens indeed. If we were to estimate and make a theoretical view of the universe called cosmic web, the galaxy superclusters would look like chains and thread-like structures that stretch across the cosmos, separated by enormous regions of empty space. It is indeed a spectacular tapestry, so vast and diverse in its design that the power of its creator must truly surpass all human understanding. Wow, wow, wow. So that's it for now. Thank you. About the entire universe again, and I mean the entire universe, something is holding it together, like a web, or we call it cosmic web, because galaxy clusters or galaxy superclusters seem to be stable. They are not drifting in the wrong place. They are linked together by gravity. And like I said, these facts do suggest that really something is holding the universe together. Okay? Or else these galaxies would really disperse and very disorganized. When you look to these galaxies at a glance, you might see them as random, but when you go further away from a farther view, you would see them as like thread-like structures. Okay? Now, many young Earth creationists reject the idea of dark matter and dark energy. We'll discuss dark energy probably next time. But to me, I would agree with secularists, theistic evolutionists, and old Earth creationists about this dark matter. Why? Okay? Why? I am not telling you to believe me, but it makes sense. It is holding the universe together, right? This dark matter, this is their theory. But in the Bible, it said God is holding everything, including the universe, together. So this dark matter could indeed be God holding the universe together. And it's not a theory anymore, it is a fact. Because in the Bible, it indeed said, I forgot which Bible verse it was, that God is holding everything together. And the cosmic web, the thread-like structures in the universe, is holding the galaxies together. It is organizing them into galaxy superclusters, not making them disorganized and spreading out even further. Although the universe is expanding, the spreading out I'm talking about here is different. I mean, drifting apart from one direction to another, which would create more collision or collided galaxies, or galaxies that are about to collide. Okay? Although we see a lot of collided or about to collide galaxies, there should be more without this dark matter existing, or God's holding the universe together. Probably it's due to sin or the curse. That is why the cosmic web, or the thing that holds the universe together, is compromised. But it's still there. God would not allow the cosmic web, the thing that holds the universe together, to completely disintegrate or be completely gone, or else his universe would be, I already said a while ago. So, like I said, I believe in dark matter, and it's God's way of holding the universe together, and it's in the Bible somewhere. So that will be all. Thank you. Okay, try not looking at the text or paragraph at the left side. What is that on the right side? What are those at first glance? It's none other than the planet Saturn. We usually see Saturn close up, but when you look at it from our telescopes, it looks like this from different views. Wow! Now you can read the left side text or paragraph right now. Okay, Saturn is actually the best when you look at it from a telescope, but other planets also look beautiful from a telescope. The primary reason Saturn is the most beautiful from our telescope is none other than its rings. It's obvious. So such beauty, such wow factor is evidence for creation. Okay? That's it. Thank you. Well, hello. This is a slide of our Milky Way galaxy, in which I made 1 or 2 years ago. This Milky Way galaxy of ours shows several evidence of design. As you can see, the yellow colored ones are evidence of design. There are a lot more, but I only chose some. Okay. As you can see on the left bottom side, there's our solar system, correct? And you can see it is pointing towards those yellow lines and green arrows. Okay, that is our location in the galaxy. Now, I don't really need to explain. I can just read them. or you could just read them yourself of these design features of our own Milky Way galaxy. Okay, not only does our galaxy contain these design features, other galaxies as well. Okay, either the same design features or different, probably more complex. And like I said, there are many more, which isn't included here. Now, okay, let's start with the green arrow. The green arrow represents the location of the design feature in which those yellow colored ones are describing. Okay, let's make this quick. The first arrow, green arrow, top left, is our galaxy's location. If we're too close to a rich galaxy cluster, galaxy would be gravitationally disrupted. If too close to a very galaxies, our galaxy would be gravitationally disrupted also. Now, our galaxy type. If it's too irregular, radiation exposure on occasion would be too severe and heavy elements for life chemistry would not be available. Okay, and now the third arrow from the left. If we're located very near the edge of our galaxy, there is a chance we would be ejected from our galaxy. We might not survive. Okay, now the next green arrow. Okay, now it is located at the lower left side. Our location is good enough for our telescopes to observe the universe. If we're not here, gas and dust will obscure our view. So our location is very good for discovering the vastness of the universe. It's a perfect location. The disk shape of our galaxy in which obscures our view, but we more or less have a 80 to 90% view of the universe, or 70, 80 to 90. Okay, and now the next green arrow. And by the way, these arrows are precisely at the location and design of the galaxy, our galaxy. Now, if we're too close to the galactic core, we won't survive because, as we know, the galactic core has a wormhole or black hole which will suck us inside. Okay, next, lower right arrow at the rear, our galaxy size. If it's too large, infusion of gas and stars would disrupt the sun's orbit and ignite too many galactic eruptions. Okay, now on the top right side without the green arrow, it's about supernova eruptions. If we're too close to those supernova eruptions, life on the planet would be exterminated by radiation. So our position in the universe, on this Milky Way galaxy, is perfect. It really looks designed. So you can check this picture out, and you'll see. It's incredible. So that will be all. Thank you. If you recognize this picture, even though he wears his astronaut helmet or something, you would know that this is astronaut John Glenn. And he said to look out at this kind of creation Okay, he is mostly talking about the universe here. And he said to look out at this kind of creation and not believe in God is to him or to me, he said, impossible. Okay? Now, he is one of the first 5 astronauts in space. He is a religious person. Actually, the first 5 people who went to space, most of them or all of them, are religious. They are the Mercury astronauts, if I'm not mistaken. When the press, the media, the press asked them, because they were in a table, all of them, the media asked them, who among you goes to church regularly? And everybody raised their hands. And when you look at their history, yes, they were indeed Christians. Okay? Now, I know John Glenn, he became a senator if I am not mistaken. Okay? Let's go for Dr. Werner von Braun, or Engineer Werner von Braun. He is a controversial figure. Some said he developed the V2 rocket, which hit London and killed a lot of people. And yes, it's true. But it's because Hitler had a gun in his head, so he was forced to do that. Okay? But he still do it. He still, built the V2 rockets. Now, Dr. von Braun is the one person, primarily the one who took us to the moon, okay, through his Saturn V rocket, the largest spaceship, whatever, sorry, my English, that we ever made, okay. There were many Apollo missions from Apollo 1, which ended up in a sad disaster, then Apollo 11, where Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon, and then there's the emergency situation at Apollo 13. Now, going back to Dr. Werner von Braun, when he was already in the United States, because during the last days of the Second World War, many, not really Nazis, but just scientists from Nazi Germany were sent to the United States to help to fight the Cold War. And Dr. Werner von Braun is one of those engineers, scientists. By the way, like I said, the first 5 Mercury astronauts, like astronaut John Glenn, is a Christian, a devout one. And Werner von Braun also is a devout Christian and a young Earth creationist, believe it or not. Now, Dr. Werner von Braun, I recall he said something which one of the favorite things I love him say. Okay? He said when they surrendered to the Americans during the last days of World War II, or when they already went to the United States after they surrendered, he said something I would never forget, like I said. He said, okay, I'm not reading from his quote. I'm just trying to recall what he said. I'm not reading from a script. Usually, I just say what I say, what's in my mind. So he said this. He'd rather surrender, he and his team rather surrender to a nation or a country governed by the Bible than a country which is governed by nothing, which is the atheistic Soviet Union. And because of that, because he went to the United States, and because of him, America was able to send its first satellite into space, although the Soviet Union, the Sputnik, first sent the satellite into space. But if Werner von Braun was allowed to do the research first, the rocket development first, America would have been first to send the satellite into space. But the Americans did not allow it at the time. I don't know. I forgot why. Okay, yes. And of course, in the end, he took us to the moon by developing the great Saturn rocket, the great Saturn V rocket, which propelled the astronauts, their lunar modules, into the moon. So that will be all. Thank you.
Back on Earth, the crew of Apollo 8 has a message that we would like to send to you. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light.
Okay. Carl Sagan is considered one of the best astrophysicists that ever lived. He's an agnostic, not a theist, not an atheist. And he is one of my favorites, well, at least in the past. But I still respect him up to now. His reputation, his ideas of the universe in the past, while he was still alive, is today being compromised by Neil Tyson deGrasse. He has modified a lot of Carl Sagan's data with his TV series called Cosmos. He said it is the continuation of the TV series of Carl Sagan, and he is a student somehow of Carl Sagan. But he is very different from Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan was a fair guy. He attacked both theists and atheists at the same time. Okay, let's move on. Now, here is the problem. And this is one of the greatest quote in the history of cosmology. It's in this slide. Carl Sagan said, "The cosmos is all that is, or was, or ever will be." What he meant was, the cosmos is like eternal. There is nothing outside of it. It is like everything is unlimited. There is no edge to the universe. It is just all the way, something like that. But the problem is, if I were to talk to him, I would ask, "Mr. Sagan, how do you know this? Have you been outside our universe? And we have also proven that the universe had a beginning, whether it's through the Big Bang or through entropy or other evidences." Does he know everything about the universe? No, of course not. So how can he conclude that the cosmos is all that is, or was, or ever will be? It's his personal belief. Although he is one of my favorite agnostics, at least in the past, and still is right now, because he has been fair. I'm a theist, he's an agnostic, and he is a real agnostic, a real person who is at the middle of theism or atheism. Some of you might accuse him of leaning more on the atheist side, but as I study his data, no, he is really a 50-50 guy who believes in both the possibility of theism and atheism with regards to the universe. So this quote from Carl Sagan, the way I see it, he should have been better than the atheist and not say something like this. Because what he said, the cosmos is all that is, or was, or ever will be, sometimes, somewhat, it sounds like an atheist talking. But I understand his position because sometimes he talks like an atheist, sometimes he talks like a theist. And there are many quotes by Carl Sagan which he criticizes and attacks atheism. But Here's the problem. Many atheists have taken this quote as gospel or as good news. They have misinterpreted what Carl Sagan is saying. Okay? And Carl Sagan is not happy about that. So this is just a little detail or an extensive detail, whatever, about Carl Sagan. Thank you. That will be all. Okay, today I'm gonna talk about the number one mystery of the universe called cosmic axis. It's a mystery because cosmologists cannot explain it, but people who believe in creation can explain it. It may appear controversial because it's close to geocentrism, but it's not strictly geocentrism, because nearly all creation cosmologists believe our galaxy is at or near the center of the universe, and evidence of that is accumulating fast, but of course secularists must reject it. Now this picture is familiar. It's the cosmic background radiation. No need to explain it because we all know about this. If you look closely, there is a pattern of blue and yellow color. From the left, yellow, then blue, then yellow, then blue, then yellow, and the last one, blue. There is a pattern where there shouldn't be. And by the way, the Earth is at the center of this cosmic background radiation, or at the center of this picture. By the way, before we move on, the yellow to red color from the cosmic background radiation in the previous picture and in the picture right now is the bit hotter part of the cosmic radiation, while the blue is the colder one. But the variations of the cold and hot spots are just a few. Okay, we're clear on that. Now if you do a spherical harmonics to the cosmic background radiation, which in simple terms is to detect patterns. Explain it further maybe next time. And in this case, we do a spherical harmonics to this cosmic background radiation. Then we get this pattern. Wow. That should not exist at all if the universe was random. See the pattern from left to right? Red to yellow, blue, then red, blue, then red, then blue, and there is this line you see, and at the center of that line is planet Earth, supporting the fact I mentioned earlier that all creation cosmologists agree our galaxy is at or near the center of the universe. But with this spherical harmonics, it's not the galaxy at or near the center, but the Earth itself. And that line you see is aligned with our equatorial and ecliptic plane of our planet, which makes the Earth indeed at the center of the cosmos, which makes us special. What are the odds we are at the center? Means God did it. This is just the beginning. Next time I'll explain in more detail.
In this picture, two galaxies are about to collide, and in other cases we see two galaxies already collided. There are many examples of this in the entire universe. By today's rate of movement of galaxies, it takes millions of years for both events to happen. This is a good evidence against a young universe. According to Dr. Jason Lisle, a creation cosmologist or scientist, this is a huge problem, but there is a solution. Dr. Russell Humphrey's gravitational time dilation model. He is considered the best creation astrophysicist and owns many awards from the secular world. His model to solve this problem must assume that our planet must be at the center of the universe in order to create a dent in space-time, so that our planet will fall into that dent to stop time. It's called the timeless zone, the Earth in the timeless zone, or the eternal realm, maybe. Galaxies were also created within this dent because billions of galaxies are huge and bigger, far, far bigger. And that's how our planet falls into the lowest edge of the dent, because these galaxies are heavy and would pull down or push down the Earth towards the lowest part of this dent. And when that happens, it completely stops time on the Earth. So the Earth is experiencing the timeless zone. But those galaxies, billions of them, were placed after the Earth was placed inside this dent. These galaxies, of course, will experience time flowing, but much, much slower because it's not as deep inside the dent, which the Earth is located. Then God said He expanded or stretched out the heavens, which resulted in galaxies being released from that dent as they're being stretched out. So when they're stretched out of that dent, because that dent slows and stops time, time begins to flow for galaxies, but for the Earth, time does not exist yet or isn't flowing yet, because galaxies came out first while the Earth was still inside that dent and deep inside that dent. So billions of years of cosmic activity after time started flowing in the universe happened before time started on Earth. Then the stretching of the heavens or the universe finally pulled the Earth out of the timeless dent zone, so time begins to tick on Earth. But millions of years of cosmic activity already took place, including collided and about to collide galaxies. So in short, Earth clocks during creation week day 4 only was 24 hours or less, while the age of the universe is billions of years old. So that's how you solve the millions of years collision rate of galaxies. Okay, as we all know, the atheistic Soviet Union of the past were the first ones who beat the Americans. They were the first to beat the Americans on both sending the first satellite in space and sending the first man into space. And in this case, it's Yuri Gagarin. I think we're all familiar with him. And of course, we also know that it was later on that the United States was able to beat the Soviets when they landed on the moon. Okay, but the atheistic Soviet Union were the first to beat the Americans. Okay, now, believe it or not, Yuri Gagarin was a Christian, and when he came back from space, the atheist leader of the Soviet Union, Nikita Khrushchev, and by the way, Nikita Khrushchev is not a good man. During the Battle of Stalingrad in World War II, he simply sacrificed a lot of soldiers, and I mean sacrifice, to defend the city of Stalingrad against the Nazis. And his being evil is also being shown in this case. Okay, not as evil as what he did in Stalingrad, but he lied in this case. Okay, in line with the atheistic Soviet propaganda of atheism, because they are the greatest atheist state in world history, they lied that Gagarin told them about not seeing God in space, because people in the past and even today, when they try to point to God, they usually point their fingers upwards.
So Gagarin, when he went up to space, the atheist Nikita Khrushchev and the Soviet Union lied, okay? Because our fingers, when we point it up, it's like we're pointing it towards space, and Gagarin did not saw God in space. And of course, nobody else ever heard Gagarin say it, that he did not see God in space. Why? Why would Gagarin never say that? He never repeated it. He never said that he didn't see God in space, and nobody else ever heard Gagarin say it. It's because he lived in the Soviet Union, the atheistic Soviet Union. He would have been persecuted if he told the truth. And lastly, of course, obviously, Yuri Gagarin will not see God in space, but instead he will see the glory of God, because the heavens declare the glory of God. That will be all. Thank you. As you can see from this slide, we see planet Earth, the small one, and Jupiter on the right side. And look at Jupiter compared to the size of the Earth. Wow! It is placed by God at a precise distance to protect us from asteroids and so on, which might come to Earth and wreak havoc. Now, usually Jupiter attracts the asteroid belt in between Jupiter and Mars, because there is an asteroid belt over there, and there are so many asteroids which drift away going into different directions. So many asteroids, and so many asteroids would indeed come to Earth. Okay? The numbers are there. Without Jupiter, the Earth will be hit, and the Earth would have been destroyed 10 times over, something like that. Okay? It's kind of like the Earth. Jupiter is like a big brother, and the Earth is like the younger brother. Jupiter, the older brother, and Earth, the younger brother, when you look at it. Because the bigger brother, or the brother Jupiter, protects its younger brother, the Earth. Okay? That is a good analogy. Now, another design feature, okay, Jupiter, the gas giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, without these planets, including of course Jupiter, like I said, without these planets at their locations would destabilize the inner planets like Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the Earth. So that is another design feature of Jupiter. And there are more, maybe next time. So thank you. Okay, now I am going to talk about a little evidence of design and stupidity of an atheist argument. We are all familiar with the Andromeda Galaxy, which is the closest galaxy to our own Milky Way galaxy. Okay? Before I add new evidence to this slide, what's written on this slide, I'm first going to read it. Okay? Some atheists have suggested that the Andromeda Galaxy is evidence of bad design because it is expected to collide with our galaxy. This is the problem when atheists cherry-pick data. The Andromeda Galaxy is expected to hit us billions of years from now. If Andromeda will hit us in our lifetime or thousands of years from now, then it's bad design. But billions of years from now, we're no longer here. Are you kidding me? Our great descendants will no longer be here. So don't let the atheists fool you with something so stupid argument like this. And they cherry-picked arguments in which are designed to fool you. Now, after reading this, I will add little evidence of design or other details. For example, let's say stars. When two galaxies collide, we see a lot of galaxies in the universe have collided and are about to collide. And those galaxies which already collided are mostly unaffected, even when they collide. I mean, the stars, especially, are not affected because each star is separated by another to another by trillions of miles. So, trillions of miles from one galaxy to another, their stars, when two galaxies collide, their stars will not hit each other because the stars are trillions of miles away from each other, from both galaxies. Okay? So, in a way, most galaxy collisions mostly are safe. But here's the thing. It's the galactic nebulas, okay? It's the galactic nebulas which can get hit. Okay? Okay. That is why we do see some collided galaxies that look like not good at all. Okay? Now, another evidence, okay, Andromeda Galaxy and our own galaxy, the Milky Way. Okay? Both Andromeda and the Milky Way are part of what we call the local group. Local group, which are galaxies near to us, okay, a group of galaxies that are near to us, but were safely designed with precisely just right distances. And also, this local group looks like elliptical or oblong. Okay? Now, as you can see, there is so much evidence of design of the universe even at this small scale. Or maybe you see this as a larger scale. Okay? But to me, it is a small scale. And something as small as this is evidence of a fine-tuned universe. And the fine-tuner, of course, is God.
For all those who appreciate the work that we're doing here on Standing for Truth, please hit that subscribe button because we are just getting started.